Nowadays, we have many different options when it comes to junk food. There are thousands of companies that produce snacks for us to enjoy, but why are they so popular, and why do we become so addicted to junk food? The answer lies with dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that helps us feel satisfaction or happiness. In our brains, there are bundles of cells called neurons through which neurotransmitters travel. These neurotransmitters allow our neurons to communicate different feelings. In dopamine's case, it transfers happy feelings. When we eat something unhealthy, our brain releases dopamine. Dopamine is released from an almond-sized part of the brain called the hypothalamus. The dopamine travels through neurons and then through a gap in the brain called the synapse. It then arrives at receptors on a different neuron. Once dopamine reaches a receptor, we get happy feelings. Without these receptors, dopamine would not be released and we wouldn't feel happy. In short, when we do something that aids our survival, our brain rewards us by releasing dopamine. After eating chocolate and sweets, we feel great because of all the dopamine in our system. However, our brain soon realizes we shouldn't continue eating. It does this through desensitization, which is the brain's way of telling us to stop. Desensitization can also cause addiction, however. Let's say we eat a cookie on Monday. Dopamine is released to receptors and we feel good. On Tuesday, when you eat another cookie, your brain remembers that you ate one already and wants a more varied and balanced diet. The brain achieves this by removing receptors. Without receptors, dopamine is not released and we do not feel happy. Therefore, we need to eat another cookie to get the same dopamine high as we did from one. As a result of needing to eat more, obesity and diabetes are on the rise worldwide. As well as being good for our physical health, exercise can also release dopamine from the brain. Don't feel guilty about pressing the snooze button, as sleeping can release dopamine too. Sunlight can increase the number of our dopamine receptors. It also gives us vitamin D, which activates the genes that release dopamine. Healthy foods such as bananas, apples, almonds, sunflower seeds, and turmeric all release dopamine. Unhealthy foods usually contain higher levels of dopamine. This is why we crave chocolate but not carrots. So why do people on diets feel good? This is because healthy foods such as carrots contain glycogen. Unhealthy foods contain glucose. After eating something unhealthy, glucose and fat are released. We get an immediate sugar high and burst of energy, causing us to become hyper. The unused fat builds up in the body and causes weight gain. We then get a sugar low, making us tired and sad. When we eat healthy foods, glycogen is instead released. Glycogen is only released when we need it, for example, in movement. In this way, fat doesn't build up and we won't gain weight. Therefore, we do not feel a sugar low and don't feel tiredness. Hope we didn't make you too hungry.